In 1935, at just 13 years old, Judy Garland signed with the biggest studio in Hollywood. On paper it seemed like a dream. In reality, it was the beginning of a lifelong struggle. MGM didn't see a child. To them, Judy was nothing more than a product. Louis B. Mayer, the head honcho of MGM, would often ridicule Judy in front of everybody in the studio, calling her his little hunchback. He'd pinch her sides, grab her face, and remind her, "You're lucky you have a voice because your looks won't get you far." And the pressure on her looks was relentless. In one of her early movies, 1938's Love Finds Andy Hardy, the studio decided she wasn't pretty enough to star opposite Mickey Rooney, so they decided to fix her. She was made to wear rubber dental caps, made up to alter her undesirable nose, and forced into chest-flattening corsets. The message was clear. Judy wasn't good enough. Everything about her would need to be redefined. And it wasn't just her looks that were critiqued at every turn. She was also pressured to work, and work, and work. To keep her going, the studio fed her a diet of pills to ensure she met their demanding schedule. She'd have pills to wake her up, pills to sleep, and pills to control her weight. And if the pills weren't enough for her to maintain her figure, the diet of chicken broth, black coffee, and lettuce were guaranteed to do the trick. The teenage Judy was even encouraged to smoke cigarettes to suppress her natural appetite. Judy was slowly losing control of everything. As her body matured, so did the darkening of the attention she had to endure. Cast in The Wizard of Oz at 16, the innocence of her on-screen character was far removed from what Judy had to experience in reality. The director of the shoot kept her in line by slapping her, and she was inappropriately touched by some of her fellow cast members backstage. No one stepped in. No one protected her, because the only thing MGM ever protected was itself. Still, in front of the camera, the smile never faded, despite the turmoil the young Judy faced, even when the control began to tighten around her. And she couldn't turn to her mother Ethel for comfort. In fact, her mother was only too happy to enforce the stringent regime demanded by MGM. By all accounts, Ethel was more interested in status than she was in her own daughter's well-being. All she cared about was the money, even if it meant forcing Judy to perform when she was sick and exhausted. Later in life, Judy did manage to tear herself away from her mother's control, branding her the real Wicked Witch of the West. As she grew older, the criticism she faced regarding looks and weight only intensified, and they came from all angles. The studio told her she was fat and unattractive. The press told her she was fat and unattractive. Judy dogged with headlines such as, "Garland bloated but still brilliant." The systematic abuse she endured for years internalized within her. Judy herself admitted her self-esteem had hit rock bottom. Judy no longer had a life of her own. It belonged to the studio, controlled by the executives, and torn apart in the pages of tabloids. Eventually, the same system that built her up and destroyed her would soon spit her out. By 1949, Judy had endured the mistreatment of MGM for 14 years. Her relentless abuse of pills and overly restrictive diet now worsened by a growing dependence on alcohol. Judy was unravelling, her mental health crumbling. Exhausted and no longer able to keep focus due to the medications, she was fired from the set of Annie Get Your Gun within a month of filming. But MGM wasn't finished with her yet. Despite her obviously declining health, Judy was still under contract, and MGM demanded she come back in to meet her contractual obligations. Her health didn't matter. She was disrupting their schedule. Judy dragged herself in, pale, underweight, and emotionally broken, barely able to speak, let alone perform. Rather than help her, MGM had no interest in aiding the woman who had bought them millions of dollars. They terminated her contract. Judy felt humiliated. She had devoted her life and sacrificed her health to the studio, only to be discarded as if she had never mattered. From here, her struggle only deepened. Judy checked herself into a hotel in Los Angeles and was found injured and alone in her bathroom after attempting suicide. It wasn't the first breakdown she'd had, but it was certainly the most serious. And the bitter irony? For the first time in her adult life, Judy had taken control. And this was the choice she had made. Judy recovered from her attempt. In the years that followed, she had time to reflect upon her time at MGM, and is quoted as saying, "She was made by MGM and unmade by its pills." Despite being one of their top movie stars and earning the executives millions upon millions, Judy was left virtually penniless. Her money filtered through agents, lawyers, and studio bosses. Unlike her peers who secured lucrative profit-sharing deals, Judy was locked into a flat weekly salary. She had been taken advantage of by a system that enriched everyone around her, except the one who had made it all possible. In her final years, Judy reportedly relied on high doses of strong prescription medications, including Ritalin, Valium, and Thorazine. Her third husband, Sid Luft, said she wasn't unstable, she was destroyed. On June 22, 1969, Judy Garland died of complications related to prescription medication in a London flat. She had less than $100 to her name. In her final shows, Judy Garland's health was so fragile that she sometimes collapsed backstage, drained by exhaustion and illness. However, the show would go on. "I need them to love me," amongst her final words. Over 20,000 fans attended her funeral. Hollywood? Silent. The machine had already moved on.